Yo, I cannot be the only one who, when they are playing video games, and honestly, I might be the only one, but when I was a young lad, let me just paint the picture for you. It's Friday, it's 4:15 p.m., and I just got out of school. Didn't do well, barely paid attention, angry, fat, chunky, um, annoyed, greasy, sweating, tripping over my belly, just miserable, just a round ball of grease and fat. I would come home, and the only thing I cared about at that age, at that sophomore, freshman, eighth grade time in high school, the only thing I could possibly wrap my head around, the only thing that brought me joy in life was video games. And not just any video game, but Call of Duty. Call of Duty Black Ops, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. And it was my whole life. I dedicated a YouTube channel to it. I dedicated commentaries to it. I dedicated game battles to it. I made money on it. I was ad revenuing. I was playing with everybody. Like, it was a good time. I remember I tried out for Optic Gaming. I tried out for Phase Gaming. I was balls deep on it. It was my entire personality. And I had everything. I had the TI 83. That's a calculator. I had the Triton headset, like a $300 headset. I had a Scuff controller. I had the little pads on the back of my PS4 controller, PS3, whatever it was at the time. I had everything. I had the Hopog HD PVR. I had the snacks. I had the Mountain Dews because Mountain Dew partnered with Call of Duty Black Ops 2, I believe. And you got double XP. Like on the back of each Mountain Dew, individual Mountain Dew, there was 15 minutes of double XP. If you drank the thing, I think it was underneath the bottle, it would put a code there. And you would type the code in Call of Duty, and boom, you get 15 minutes double XP. So I was just taking straight shots from the sky of Mountain Dew. Dude, I had 6 hours of double XP from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. from Friday afternoon to Friday evening. I mean, what's that? 24. That's like 24 Mountain Dews. I was just pounding those suckers left and right. And I would get not nachos, but Doritos, and because those also had the double XP on it. So I had the Mountain Dew. I remember I had stacks underneath of my bed, literally just pallets of Mountain Dew underneath my bed. I had Doritos everywhere. I was just munching and crunching and just constantly yelling at my TV. I have marks on my bed frame still to this day where I would take the controller, just curse people out and throw the controller and just dent my bed. I dented my wall. I punched things. I threw things. I cursed. I was a maniac. Like I completely lost my mind when I was playing Call of Duty. And I would sit down, and I remember the thing that was by far the most annoying aspect of playing Call of Duty or playing video games habitually, playing it way too much, borderline addiction. The thing that sucked the most was when your hands were cold. Because if your hands were cold, you couldn't move the analog sticks as aggressively as if they were warm. At the same time, if your hands were too hot, they were sweating, and if they're sweating, you couldn't grip the controller nearly as well. And that's how I feel right now. Not angry, not Dorito breath, which is by far the worst breath. You ever have conversations with somebody and you can literally taste what they ate because of smell that's coming out of their mouth? It is by far the most disturbing thing in the world. I have a legit phobia of food in people's mouths and smells in people's mouths are right up there. Like if I can't see anybody eating anything white, if someone's eating white food, I will be like this. I will eat looking away from them. Or I'll just pick up my meal and I'll walk away. I can't eat like white food. It's disgusting to me. I can't hear people eating. If people are talking to me with Dorito, Cheeto, or like Frito, Dorito, Cheeto, Frito mouth, it will put me through the wall. Dorito, Cheeto, Frito, breath. That's funny. It was horrible. It was horrible. And then you would see people's food like get stuck up in the corners of the mouth, or people would it would make me so sick. Like it was I would have to leave the cafeteria. I remember I would sit in the cafeteria and like 15 minutes would go by and I would be in overdrive of sensitivity, like just the visual sensitivity of just turning around and watching this guy is mushing a peanut butter and jelly sandwich up against his cheeks. That person over there has just Doritos in his mouth and is talking. You can watch it just spraying the people in front of him. You have the table of the crazy people in the corner just taking their hands and just scooping up mayo and ketchup in their mouth. We had this kid in middle school named Avery, and this kid he would take, and I felt so bad. He was mentally handicapped, and I still feel so bad to this day. But when he would eat, his ratio of ketchup to chicken nugget was like 10-1, and it makes me sick just talking about. He would take the chicken nugget, scoop up ketchup so that you could see no fried batter on the chicken nugget. It was just pure ketchup. But what made it even worse, then he would take a spoon and he would just spoon ketchup in his mouth. And it wasn't like quality ketchup. It's school ketchup. So it's just a huge bags where it just comes in as tomato paste and they throw water in it. They mix that sucker up. But that is one of the things that it's one of the things that I feel so guilty about. And I know I shouldn't feel guilty about it because it's just a reaction I have and it's not my fault per se. It's the trauma I have from being a child and watching my grandmother eat. Like R.I.P. rest in peace. I love you, Grandma. I miss you every day. I think you left us in 2012. Holy crap, time goes quickly. 9 years ago, I was 15 years old, and I think about you every day. And you would love Taylor. You would love my family. You would love. We would have amazing conversations. I love you, and I miss you. And it's hard sometimes not knowing you're not here. Because there's people that you meet in this world that leave an impact on you. You know, there's people in this world that leave an impact on you, and there's people in this world who leave an impact on you so strong that it makes every other impact that's left on you just automatically fill second place. Talking about somebody who was the most honest, thoughtful, caring, loving, non-judgmental human being I've ever met in my life, it was her. She would make you feel loved even when you were neglected. She would make you feel heard even if you couldn't talk. She would make you feel warm even if you were broken. You know, she would make you feel fulfilled even if you were depressed. You know, she had the magic, she had the it factor. And, you know, somebody who lived through the Great Depression, somebody who her husband served during World War II, so she had to live through that. Somebody who had 7 kids that made it through childbirth, 3 with stillborns. Somebody who lived a life never really having too much. You know, never rich. Never poor, you know, maybe lower middle class to lower class, but just somebody who, when they were speaking to you, you could feel more than words. You felt like each word was hugging a part of your body. You felt like when you were speaking to them, they had 20 hands, and every word that you said was being caught and brought back to their heart. No word would nothing that you said would get by her. She was constantly listening. She constantly was listening, and she always was paying attention, not just to what you said, but how you said it, what your eyes were doing when you said it. You couldn't lie to her. She would call you out on your BS quickly. She would set you straight if you were acting a certain way. She was a force to be recognized. And there's not many people. I don't think there's a lot of people you end up crossing paths with in life who have that impact on you. And I know a lot of people that I don't know. I know most people I know have had relationships with the grandparents. I still have a set of grandparents that are alive to this day, and that's something that I don't take for granted. That's a huge, that's something to be very proud of. Not proud, but don't take that for granted. People who are from a different generation and people who are part of your bloodline, and they can tell you so much. I never met my grandfather on my mother's side, but from what I hear, he was a beautiful disaster. He was a beautiful disaster. Just a veteran, World War II veteran. He was the guy who went on the beaches of Normandy post D-Day and would just clean up the dead bodies. That was his job. A real hardened man, a person who saw the evils of the world, who saw the most disgusting things that humanity has to bring to offer, that humanity offers, and was still able to live a life, with dignity and love and passion. And although vices can dig their claws in parts of you that you may or may not want them to be, overall just a good person, raised good people, married an amazing person, my grandmother. And I think about her a lot, because she is, out of all the people I know, she's the one person that I want to make the most proud. Even though I think if I died today, she would recognize that I have lived a life where it would make her proud. But that's neither here or there. But just, I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you're lucky enough to have grandparents, if you're lucky enough to have parents, if you're lucky enough to have somebody in your life that you love and care for, don't wait until tomorrow to tell them that you love them. It may not be there. It may not come. People die, and unpredictably. And this idea that death is something that is out of sight, out of mind, is just not true. It's there. It's upon every turn you make. Denying that your death is something that is not as real as life itself. Death is the reason life has any meaning. There's something beautiful about it. Religions are considered death to be the pinnacle of life. Buddhism believes in reincarnation, or Hinduism, I forget which one. I do apologize, since I just offended half the world. Not half, but like a quarter of the world by conflating those two beautiful religions. But literally, death is where you are. Your whole life, the whole journey of living is determined right there upon your death, what your next life's going to be. And if you lived a positive, beautiful life, you might come back as a beautiful eagle. If you lived a disgusting, horrible life, one similar of Adolf Hitler or Stalin or Pol Pot, you might come back as a cockroach. But death is always there, and it's never going to go away, and it's It's always going to be the burden. It's a burden that we all must carry. It's pretty incredible that you can look out in the world and there can be 7 billion people, and all of us can live a life. Not all of us. Some of us have the overarching fear, anxiety upon our death that may grapple with us, and we may fight with that to the day we die. But most human organisms, most animals, most not Homo erectus, Homo sapiens, most of us can live a life where we can just kind of block out death and just not think about it and just let it be second, not even exist in our world. And that, my friends, is amazing. That is amazing that we have the ability to know that we're going to die, but live a whole life and apply meaning to everything that we do, knowing that one day breath would be taken from our insides. We would no longer be. We develop a whole ecosystem around that. We have economically, we function off of death. Life insurance functions off of death. Aging, a byproduct of death, is part of unemployment. Cyclical unemployment. You can age out of a certain job. You can age out of school. You can age out of so many things. At a certain age, you can go grab a gun and serve your country. At a certain age, you can drink yourself to death legally. The binding of death, aging, in society is so it's the same thing. It's a 3-for-1 package, and it's incredible to me that we can all function we can all cohabit the same area, and continue to wake up every day and block out this idea of the afterlife, whatever that is, whatever it looks like. It can go away like that. And it's not until you know somebody close to you who does experience a afterlife, or somebody who does pass away, and somebody who doesn't come back for a second round, that it feels permanent. And I've been having like this weird anxiety lately over the death of my dog, and I don't know exactly what it is. I would really have to work hard on comprehending it. I would really have to beat myself up for a while and I occasionally do that. I go on these very difficult mind warping journeys to get at the core of a thought. But my dog, she I don't want to get too much into it because we're not even sure what it is. But I've developed such a close relationship with her, like almost like a child. Like I'm constantly thinking about her. I feel like I can't protect her enough. I feel like I can't protect her enough. I feel like I want to, and this sounds crazy because I'm 24. I don't have a family. It sounds nuts, but I want to be the person. I want to just guide her along her doggy days, and I'm a human, so I can't do that. But I want to stick my arm out, and I want to develop a bridge that she can walk on that is free of dragons and free of monsters and free of death and free of cancers and free of cars and free of coyotes and free of eagles, things that could hurt her, kill her, take her life away. And I almost feel like I can't stop that, and that's a very disabilitating feeling. And it's gotta be magnitudes 20 times worse than when you're a mom or when you're a father, and you feel that towards a child. I couldn't imagine. I feel that the same way with my girlfriend. I want to provide just a very clear-cut, comfortable, free of pain path. But you can't. You You just cannot do that. By providing that freedom, that comfort, that fear of challenge, by providing that to anybody in your life, by providing that to yourself, you're doing yourself a disservice, because there's a few things you just cannot avoid. And those things are death. Those things are pain. Those things are suffering. Those are things that have to seep into your life in order for you to feel life. But I don't know. I've just been wanting to just take care of her all the time. I don't know. I think it was she fully. I had a week with her, and just me, her, and Taylor, and she was fully dependent on me, and it was wild. And I know it sounds stupid, because a lot of the times her parents take care of her, or my parents take care of her, but it was bigger than me. I had to take care of her. I had to find that responsibility, and it was hard. It's not like I didn't enjoy it. If anything, I enjoyed it so much. But it's been fascinating. It's been fascinating. I've been reading a lot more lately. With school, it's not that school's easy right now. School's hard. There's just a lot of things going on, and I didn't even get to the point that I wanted to at the beginning of this podcast, that I kept my hands warm under hot water, and that helped me play video games better. But with school, I'm at a point now where I have a lot of assignments I have to do, but I can't rush them. I require other people to help do them, the group assignments. So I can't just go ahead and, start knocking out things. I'm relying on other people, which is fine. But with that being said, I've had time to read again. And for people who've been listening to the podcast for a while, my favorite thing to do in this world, if I could create my own world, this is what it would be like. It would be me, Taylor, coffee, and books, and free Southwest airline tickets, and Airbnb, and just travel this country. I would say world, but people want to travel the world, but they haven't even traveled the country. And this country has a lot to offer. Not just physical features, but people. I mean, God damn, dude, we have so many types of people. You go to mini Cuba in Miami. You go to Wisconsin. You see those Icelanders, those Vikings. You see the a heavy population of Jewish descent in New York. You see a heavy population of Jamaican background. We have so the people, the Asian communities, like the people that we have in this country are just outrageous. We have so many types of people, so many cities with so many cultures, and there's so much exploration here. But if I could choose a life that I would want, it would be that, to travel and read, and drink coffee. That's literally all I want to do. Like, if I wasn't in school right now, I would be door dashing all the time. I would be working all the time. I would be traveling all the time. And I would be reading all the time. That's what I would do. If I wasn't working or door dashing, I would be reading. And if I wasn't doing that, I would be traveling, at least once every 2 or 3 months. And I've just kind of started feeling like that lately, where I just have this urge to read a lot. And I didn't take a few months off, but I haven't really been crushing books like I used to. I can't even see a book up here that I finished last. It's kind of been, I guess I can look at Goodreads, but even that's been slow. Because I just haven't had the time, and I know it sounds stupid, saying I didn't have time to read, but that's just the truth. I haven't really had too much time to read. Kathy Wood released her new ETF called ARKX. It's a space exploration. I definitely want to get on it. I everything she does is just, it's amazing. It's amazing. I think I have to set up think I might have messed up here with one of my trades. Like an idiot. Like a freaking dummy, dude. Just a dummy. I went ahead and sold Block, which was an ETF I owned that track companies that track Bitcoin. And I sold them because I wanted to buy out all of holdings in the new space exploration innovation ETF from Kathy Wood, but I couldn't buy it. Robinhood does this day trader thing, and I accidentally bought and sold. I sold my Block. I think it was like an $1,800 holding. I'm such an idiot. This is stuff that makes me want to like slam my head on a counter. I accidentally sold my entire holding, and then I rebought it again because I thought I was buying ARC X, but I wasn't because I'm an idiot and I bought the wrong thing. So that's good. Way to go there, Mike. You freaking idiot. God, so stupid, man. Everyone's releasing things for crypto because crypto's here to stay. I'm telling you, it's here to stay. I always put up a poll on my Instagrams, ask people who has bought into Bitcoin, and people are still saying they haven't bought in. I'm telling you, I don't listen to me, but I'm telling you, man, it's here to stay. Bitcoin is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere, and that's just my humble opinion. I could be completely wrong, but I just feel like it's not going anywhere. It's gonna be here for a while. It's gonna make a lot of people a lot of money. It's gonna compete against inflation. That's just what I believe. I could be completely off the mark there. And if I am, that's totally fine because it's just my opinion, but I think it's here to stay. Let me look up books that I have. What is this? What do I want to read? I have so many weird books here that I want to read. So many books that people tell me about. A History from the Enlightenment to the all about sex. Trapped in the Mirror, Adult Child, Narcissist. Huh. Shocker. The Boy Who Could Change the World. I love reading. It's changed my I can't say that one. It's a book by Dick Gregory. It's all about the life of a African American who was a comedian. And I can't say the name of the title because it would definitely get me in a lot of trouble. But I want to read it. I love reading about things that I can't relate to, and I can't relate to being an African American, so I like to read about it just so I can I want to understand I want to understand a world that I cannot ever understand. I want to have the tools to at least not be ignorant when a conversation comes up. I want the tools to be able to have a conversation in any situation, you know. So I like to read books about racism. I like to read books about relationships between cultures, white, black, Asian, Mexican, whatever it is, Middle Eastern. I don't care what it is. I like to keep myself in the loop. I like to keep myself educated. I don't want to ever be stuck out in a situation where I just sound like an arrogant white dude. Last book I read was Beating the Street by Peter Lynch. So an investment book, Carnivore Cure, Food of the Gods. But right now I'm reading Jordan Peterson again, which, you know, Jordan Peterson gets a lot of flack. He's somebody who he's a strong proponent of free speech. He doesn't believe in restricting people to say the things that they want to say. He believes that leads to a dangerous path, that leads to a path of so he studied Hitler. You know, he studied Nazi Germany. He studied that world that things were slowly taken away. Next thing you know, you have World War II. You have fascism. You have Nazism. You have different you have ideologies that start out as a little tiny, you know, egg, and then they're born into a massive thing that you can't stop. It seeps into people's brains and it becomes a cancer and takes over the world. And he's somebody who fears that the direction that the United States, not just the United States, but the Western world is taking is kind of leading to that. Literally saying you can't say certain words, saying that you can't have critiques against certain people, trying to place blame on place blame to an entire group or entire structure. He thinks that that's dangerous. And he brings up a lot of great points. Let me look up Jordan. He's always getting in trouble. Beyond order rules. I think I'm at rule 6 right now. Let's see if it shows what all the rules are. Okay, here we go. So the first rule is do not carelessly denigrate social institutions and creative achievements. Imagine who you could be and aim single-mindedly at that. I think that's a very important quote. Because I think a lot of people, they live a life where they don't even think about what they are, who they are, what they have, what they can do. They kind of just, and trust me, I'm guilty. I'm still guilty of that. Like, to be completely transparent with people, I do that. I sometimes spread myself way too thin, and I never actually achieve something. I'm always achieving micro successes instead of having an ultimate goal and putting everything I have into that. That's rule number 2. Do not hide unwanted things in the fog. That's confront issues in relationships. Confront ideas that are seeping in your head that you may not like. Don't deny them. Don't say, oh, that's not me. I'm not that person. Well, maybe you're not that person, but you could be that person. And do you want to be that person who thinks that way? If you do, then don't confront it. But if you don't, you're going to have to confront it. You're going to have to confront the thoughts in your head that are complex, that make you kind of go crazy, that are complicated. You're going to have to do that in order to complete yourself. Notice opportunity lurks or responsibility has been abdicated. That one is, I think, by far the most important for men, for just people in general. Success, things that will bring you the most joy, things that will make you the most accomplished, things that will fulfill you the most are always 100%, I'm going to say 99% of the times found in the places that require the most responsibility. And due to that, people will never, ever achieve their full potential and will never, ever find the opportunity, because the thing that people like to deflect the most, the thing that people like to run away from the most is challenges, and it's especially challenges that come from a high place of responsibility. The responsibility is a thing that you have to confront. You have to grab onto the reins and you got to let it pull you, and you have to control it. That's where opportunities will arise, and then you're prepared for them because you've taken on the responsibilities. You jump on the opportunities, and now you win. Do not do what you hate. That one is complicated. It seems like it shouldn't be complicated, but it is complicated. Do not do the things you hate. That doesn't mean don't do the things that are hard. It means do the things that you hate. Do not stay in a relationship that brings you pain and suffering in a cyclical pattern. Do not stay at the job that you hate because it pays you $20,000 more. Do not do the things that make you start hating yourself, because once you start hating yourself, it seeps into the people around you. And once it seeps into the people around you, you are PHUCKED. Because then your life falls apart. It's so obvious when you're talking to somebody and you see that they don't like themselves, and it's complicated. It's complicated to say. It's very difficult to, first of all, admit that you don't like yourself. It's first, and then it's even more difficult to explain to people, or not explain, but explain to yourself why you don't like yourself. Because when you explain to yourself why you don't like who you are, it's going back and saying that some of the choices you made were wrong choices. And it can be very difficult when it's a career. It can be very difficult when it's post undergrad, post college, because You spend so much of your life developing this image of who you're supposed to be, right? Who are you supposed to be? I'm supposed to be blank, right? You think you're achieving that, and then you achieve it, and you're not happy. And the reason why you're not happy is because maybe what you were supposed to be was not that person that you eventually became. And that can completely unravel your life and make you fall apart. Abandon ideology. That's self-explanatory. Work as hard as you possibly can at least one thing and see what happens. That's how far I am. I'm almost done with the seventh chapter, or seventh chapter, seventh rule. But it's a beautiful book. It's a complicated book. It's one that requires you to think. And I know thinking is not everyone's strong suit. Not shots fired, just truth. But that's it, guys. That's all I had to say on this beautiful Thursday morning. I still didn't talk about the documentary I've been wanting to talk about. But I think this is a shorter podcast, 35, 36, 37 minutes. I don't know. Let me see. I could just ramble on for a few more minutes. Yeah, 36-minute podcast. So, but it's not going to be 40 minutes, but that's okay. Make sure you guys hit the donation box. Show some love there. Continue to listen on audio. Share it with your friends. We've hit a huge milestone, and I will explain to you guys in the next episode. But until then, guys, be safe. Have a great weekend. Share this with your friends. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much for listening. See ya.